Hello, welcome to this Supermoon reading. Wow, we are kicking off 2018, which is an 11 year. 2 plus 0 plus 1 plus 8 is 11. And 11 is known, it is the first of the master numbers, known as the inspirational teacher. And wait till I read you this Sabian symbol that goes with the exact degree point of the culmination of this super full moon that we have on January 1st. It's Cancer 12, a Chinese woman nursing a baby whose aura reveals him to be the reincarnation of a great teacher. It goes right with the energy of the 11. And Cancer 12, 1 plus 2 being 3. In numerology, 3 is, speaks to the importance of expression, but it's where we get our hands in the clay and start creating. That is the big message with the number 3, is about the beauty of blending and mixing and trying and tinkering and having fun just in the kitchen, experimenting with a bunch of new ingredients and finding what tastes good to you. And I feel like we're being given the license to do that, and really we're being given the keys to a majorly nice and fast car to do that. Because this symbol, with the Chinese woman and the baby, with the aura, it just speaks to the fact that in all of us on this planet, there is mastery that lives within us. But it is up to us to be willing to tap in and see what's there. And I feel like the cards, and I have a crystal for everybody this week for your card, I feel like that's going to speak a little bit towards what begins to crack that egg open, because something new is being birthed here, with it being, a woman nursing a baby. This is a new part of you that's coming out. And the 11 year is incredibly important. And it might mean 11 is also a 2 year, because you add the 2 ones together, so it carries the vibration of both, and that's what amplifies it as well. And the 2 is about finding that balance, about living in this place of duality, which we do, and seeing that as a gift. How is it that things that aren't going right maybe are showing you a direction, allowing you to more carefully hone what you do want, what feels better to you? And I really feel like this wisdom from within, which the symbol indicates to me, is going to be coming up. Okay, so let's get into the cards, because I'm really curious. So the first card choice is from the Radiant Tarot deck. So this is a traditional deck that I have. And you have a major arcana card, the Hermit. So beautifully matched with this symbol. And remember, the moon here being the supermoon in Cancer, that the moon rules Cancer, and so there it is, the most deeply intuitive part of us that is being revealed. And there's a comfort level here, and with it being so close to the earth that it will be a supermoon, there is so much amplified within. That is the lantern of the Hermit. I feel like we're getting a guiding post with these symbols, or kind of a map, if you will, a suggestion of where that true north is as we go into this 11 year. And it's really, for you, I feel, directing within, that throughout this year, throughout 2018, that your best course is going to come when you look within for response first. And I'm getting a sense of slowing down, of not being so quick to be like out of the chute and ring, off we go. but slowing down the pace so that you can take that minute and check in first. And really ask yourself the question, what am I wanting? And be real about it. Like, am I looking for accolades? Am I looking for a little love? And are you looking outside of yourself for that? Or could you start by giving it to yourself first? Because when we try to put upon others what we want for ourselves, and when we're real with ourselves, and we can do this, that's why it's so great to go internal first and say, okay, I'm experiencing this negative emotion and I'm clearly like pushing through a situation here. The Hermit is speaking in your ear every minute of 2018. That's what's going to happen. Is saying, okay, you're not liking what's going on, so instead of expecting somebody else to do X, be real with yourself about, what am I really looking for here? Because the Hermit illuminates what is deepest within us, and it fulfills a need within first. And in that way, we gain a sense of freedom because we illuminate from within. We don't expect others to pick up the slack when we get lazy and want to just say, oh, I need love, so I'm looking to you to make that happen for me. And believe me, I mean, we all, myself most definitely included, sort of rely on these old patterns of expecting that this person or that job or this volunteer work or your relationship with your child or whatever, we put all these expectations on all of those components of our life. But the real seed, the real gem, the real treasure is when we first look within and get real with ourselves and say, wait, what am I wanting here? And it may be worth it to get yourself a beautiful new journal and keep it with you. Maybe get one of the small size ones and keep it with you everywhere you go. And when you have these moments of like, either when anger, definitely frustration, that's a big one, disappointment, anything that makes you feel low vibe, anything that's not what you would consider good juju. It doesn't lift you up. It doesn't make you feel all bubbly inside. It doesn't spark you off in this great inspired kind of a way. By design, we do not live in that space 24/7, and I'm not asking you to. I'm asking you to take advantage of the times that you don't, because that's the Hermit part of you that's whispering in your ear in those moments. When you're feeling joyous and creative and like all your juices are just bubbling and you're just like, oh, you're in love with life. You know that feeling. Your spirit is front and center in those moments. You are totally lined up. But what I want for you, and the Hermit is wanting for you in 2018 with the launch of this full moon, is to use the opportunities when you're not feeling that way to quickly be able to get yourself back into alignment by giving yourself the essence of what you're looking for, okay? Your crystal is this piece of apophyllite. I always have to look at my spelling of that. Apophyllite. So this is, all three crystals this week are part of the water team. So clearly it's inspiration leads the day in this master year. So this, get off my face here, this piece is known to me as the revealer. It has all these beautiful facets within it. That's what I love about apophyllite. And the piece that came forward for you of all my descriptions about the revealer is wanting and this is the Hermit speaking directly to you here, wanting to uncover something that has been working its way to the surface for some time. So particularly in those moments, there's a reason that that is coming up when I tap into the Hermit. When those unsatisfying moments come up, use them as a gem to help you reveal something deeper, to help something deeper come up that is ready to come up. Because that's why we face those moments that are highly unsatisfying. And the more charged you are about it, the more ready something deeper is ready to be revealed. But that really is up to you to have the awareness. You know, it's the baby revealing the aura. It is using that 11 energy of 2018 to be willing to step into the alchemical kitchen and to play with the ingredients of, okay, why am I feeling this level of frustration? And to not immediately place it on somebody else, but to ask yourself, what am I looking for here? And be real. Again, that is the beauty of the Hermit, is that this is an internal job. This is all within you, and it's just ready to bubble up very personally for you. And in doing that, it shifts your energy vibration. It shifts what is exuded from you, because you begin then, when you identify, what am I looking for? And then when I say go into the alchemical kitchen, it's the ultimate sense of freedom, because you offer it to yourself first. If I'm looking for recognition, all right, let's take a few minutes in my journal and just see all the things that I have accomplished on this particular day, or over the past year, or the past 6 months, or the past 10 years. Look at all that you have done. You can always take that moment to do that. But those moments keep leading you back to yourself. The moments of frustration, the moments of anger, the moments of like wanting to retaliate. It's all like, ying, it has to be an inside job. And the 11 year is calling you towards that, because that's the ultimate in the responsibility of being a great inspirational teacher, is to take care of your own shop. If you haven't watched it yet, I put up a video. I will link to it down in the YouTube description below this video about taking care of your own shop. That could be immensely helpful as you go through this. But there is huge potential for how this could play out for you through the year. And you will be amazed at, when we get real with ourselves, within ourselves, what exactly can be revealed. And it's this beautiful facets, so many ways to look at things, so many ways to say, why am I feeling like I need to retaliate against that person? What is it that I'm not receiving, and therefore I'm expecting somebody else to do it, and when they don't, I want to hurt them? It all comes back to us, because we are individual little auras, as our symbol for this week came out. We are individual auras walking around, so it's our job to pay attention to our aura, not other people. Okay? Wow. Big doings, big reveal. Okay, the next card up is from the, oops, wrong side up, from the Soul Coaching deck. Okay, and again, we're talking a Cancer, a full moon, a supermoon, closest it will be to the earth in the sign of Cancer. The moon rules Cancer, okay? And we're talking about you being a great inspirational teacher, revealing that magical aura around you, and really a sense of mastery coming forward. So what comes up for you is delight. I feel that all the cards are sort of a momentum. They are a true north, if you will, that kind of cracks open the egg of this level of mastery that's ready to lead the way for you to be a great inspirational teacher, which is the energy of the 11 year, okay? And to reveal this inner part of you that only you can offer From our symbol, let me read this again to you. A Chinese woman nursing a baby whose aura reveals him to be the reincarnation of a great teacher. Any of you listening to this are, I believe everybody on the planet is included in this message, but certainly those of you wanting to take the time to listen to this message, there's something for you here to hear. That you are mastery in form. You are here to help lead the planet, lead this species that we call humanity into a new place. You have a role here. You are, the bigger part of you has just been waiting for this time to come forward. So we kind of don't want to waste an 11 year. These don't come around all the time. And we want to be able to see, because again, the 11 reduces down to 2 when you add the 1 and the 1. So we carry the energy of the inspirational teacher for the 11 number of mastery, but also the 2, which is about finding that balance, finding that ability to find joy and be joy, even in a place of duality. And that's what your card is pointing to, is this idea of delight. And it says, I delight in everything in my world, and divine joy fills me. What if you woke up every single day and said, my dominant intent today is to find joy in everything that comes across my path, and that I have the ability to define what that joy is. That's what I feel the mastery when I say the great teacher within you that's being called forward. And this full moon is lighting the way to this very deep wisdom. It's launching very purposefully on January 1st at this degree point that talks about you being a great teacher in the year of being the great inspirational teacher, the 11. And doing so, I think the key, and what I want to say, is that the true joy comes from the fact that you get to determine what is delight, what is joy. You get to look at any situation that you come across and to see deeper into what's happening, to reveal something that perhaps other people don't see. And the reason I say that is your crystal is this piece I have of jade. And this is known to me as elder. That's the name of it that came to me when I first sat with it. It is part of my water team, so this has to do with your intuition. All 3 cards have crystals from the water team. So this has to do with tapping into your intuition. And the elder energy is about this, the elder within us. But of all the pieces of what I use to describe this piece of jade, is things are not what they seem. Truth lies deeper and can suddenly appear. So how can it be that you might see the joy in a sudden illness, or losing your job, or very obvious things, somebody you adore, or yourself having a new baby, adding to your family, the loss of somebody that you care about. The elder within you wants to give you this level of freedom. This idea of freedom is coming up, I think, consistently for all the cards. Wanting you to see that you are never held down or held back from giving yourself freedom. It's kind of I feel this sense of excitement when I talk about this, even with those heavy subjects that I just mentioned. I highly encourage you to feel excited about being able to delve into your elder energy to find these options that are right, they are right there. But it takes awareness, and it takes the great inspirational teacher within you, the baby revealing its aura. It takes that to be courageous enough to dig deeper and to say, wait a minute, things are not what they seem. I'm not getting on that ride. I've got to bring up here, when I was going through my cancer journey, I had a very clear vision of what was happening in each setting that I found myself in. There are pathways of beliefs and behaviors. So this is through thoughts and feelings that are like a Disney ride. You go on the Jungle Cruise and you swear that the guy is driving the boat, and it turns out like the boat is on rails under the water, and there's no way he could ever hit the side of the lagoon. You know, I don't know if that's actually the case, but that's the imagery I was getting, and it was definitely Disney World. So there's this sense of like being on, I set it up that way for you because you can view anything, absolutely anything in your life in this way, that you are on the Jungle Cruise and you're out to see, oh, I wonder if I'll see the tiger or the whatever. And knowing they're just like ceramic figures that have, or plaster or whatever, that have been built who knows how many years ago, and they get freshly painted every year. But look at the people that stand in that line still to see that. And it's the same with how many times do we experience death? How many times do we experience joyous things, additions to the family, you know? How many times do we experience health issues with ourselves or those we care about? We're all standing in the Disney line. We're all standing in the Jungle Cruise line. We're all going to see the same painted hippopotamus in the water. It's not real, but it's there. So we're standing in line to see all these like created aspects of life. And meanwhile, the boat to get you there is on these rails. And you're like, this year of the 11 and the baby revealing its aura as a great teacher is saying, I'm not standing in that line. I will continue to see those things that we all see, but I'm not going on the Jungle Cruise to do that. And I don't want to wait in the line to see all that stuff. It boggles my mind, and I've been in that line myself more than once, that we do that. But we do it because it's just what you do. But it is, as a great inspirational teacher and as the elder coming up here, and this your true north of delight, don't you want something more than seeing a whatever, plaster or concrete hippopotamus that gets painted once a year? Don't you want more than that? Don't you want more than the guy who's supposedly driving the boat and it's really on rails under the water? Like everybody travels that same path. Don't you want something different? Because you are an inspirational teacher. You are way beyond being on the Jungle Cruise and waiting in a line that takes 2 hours to get through and seeing the same things that everybody has seen since 1975. You are way more than that. You have way more potential and way more possibilities. That's what this piece speaks to. But so many more possibilities to look at very common things in our lives, even the non-joyous stuff, and to find a way to delight in it in a brand new way. But it does take courage to be out there on that leading edge and to say, I choose to see the death of somebody that I love very much, very differently. I'm choosing to see that differently because I don't want to be on the rails with everybody else. There is inspired thought within you that is wanting to come up. And in this way, when we give ourselves the credit, the ability, the passport to be able to consider other viewpoints, consider deeper wisdom that exists to bring great delight to anything. It is my dominant intent to experience delight and joy in anything that crosses my path. And it doesn't mean we don't cry. It doesn't mean we don't miss that person. It doesn't mean we don't want cancer. It doesn't mean that, that we can't feel the feelings that are real, but how we interpret them and how we perceive them, and then how we really beam that out into our life and therefore to everyone around us is completely our choice. And to me, that is the difference between getting on the Jungle Cruise with everybody else after waiting in line for 2 hours, and the guy's not even really driving the boat, and you deciding that you're going to go to Africa and you're going on your own Jungle Cruise and you're hiring a guide with an air fan boat and you're just going to go do a cruise that is custom for you. That's vibrationally the difference that I'm talking about. There are well-worn paths for things like health issues, like grief, and even like joy. Situations that bring tremendous joy. There's even deeper levels of that you can feel. And the more you're able to experience, and even with sad things, even things that make you angry, when I say delight, I mean that you are lighted up within. It is a sense of hope. It is like there is a star in the sky just for you, that it is really within you, that it is always available. There is always another viewpoint to consider, one that can make you feel lighter, not so dense, and not feeling like you're just taking the well-worn path, because there's no joy there. It's been there since 1975. They just keep painting it every year. The stupid hippopotamus. It's not even real. What if you create something that's totally new and totally real? You've got it within you. Okay. Alrighty. Our third card is from the Angel Tarot deck. We are not screwing around with this. These cards are amazing. You have the World for your card. And again, I'm saying to everybody here, we're talking about the full supermoon that happens on January 1st in the sign of Cancer. The moon will be closest to the earth, so it will be big, and the moon rules Cancer. So that automatically amplifies the energy. And Cancer gets to this deep, watery part of us that is so intuitive and so in tune with what we consider to be our roots, our home. And it speaks to a spiritual home because of our symbol. And I'm going to read this to you again. Cancer 12. A Chinese woman nursing a baby whose aura reveals him to be the reincarnation of a great teacher. And the 11th year we're going into, 2018, being this year of the great inspirational teacher, you. So the World. Okay. Now the World is also connected to the planet Saturn. And Saturn just made its way into the sign of Capricorn. And so even though the World is the top, or the culmination, the very end point of the journey of the Fool, which I call the free spirit in the Tarot, the major arcana. And so this is like the ultimate, right? And the World always includes all 4 elements. So it speaks to earth, a sense of groundedness, attending to details and achievement in our lives, work and balancing your checkbook and keeping your house clean and, earthly matters. And air, which is the mentality, being sharp of mind and how we communicate and how we process. And water, being intuition and our emotional self, and that's a piece of who we are. And fire, that being passion and drive and staying active, and both active within what fuels us, really, is what fire is. And so, but with the world, there is always this, often it's seen like a big wreath around the person. And that's the Saturn element that I think I'm kind of, along with so many other things in the astrology readings that I do, I'm out to kind of metamorphosize how people think of Saturn. Because for some reason that's really coming up for me. And when I was reading the symbol, the Chinese woman part of this symbol really stuck. As I was saying it, I was like, oh. And it speaks to, because she's a servant. So it speaks to these areas that we feel restriction and where we feel like, but I have to and I should. Those words. Have to, should, need to, must. Anything. Saturn is about restriction in our life. But knowing, again, we have all four elements at our beck and call, those of you that picked this card. And this card is also the 21, which matches the energy of the 3 with Cancer 12. 1 plus 2, 2 plus 1 in this case. So there's this really nice symbiosis where the 3 is about this sense of creativity and blending and growth and getting your hands in the clay. And that, I feel for you, has to do with any of these. This can be the year where you really start to take a second look at everything where you always say, and I say it just like that, you always say this, I should, I need to, I have to. It's being a servant to something that actually is not a restriction. Because that's the funny thing about the world, is this is a self-imposed restriction. The world is available, and so it's up to us how much restriction we put around ourselves. Because the Fool in the Tarot has made its way, this archetype has made its way through all these stages in order to get to this final place of the 21. And that is when the Fool has gathered up all of the tools, all of the wisdom, really, from each stop along the way. That's why I love the Major Arcana. I think it's a magical journey. And it's not always fun. It's not always fun. But it is interesting in how you begin to see and perceive these aspects. So with the world, what I feel for you in this 2018 year is that, you have the ability to be able to see how much restriction you're putting around. Question yourself around the restriction you're putting around, I need to do this. And question, am I being a servant to X? Am I playing according to old rules? Because the mention of it being a Chinese woman speaks to those kind of early beginnings, like the wisdom of the East, which is somehow, is known to be more evolved, more ancient than belief of the West. So it's old, and I'll just be honest with you, it's outdated. There's too much energy available in 2018 with it being an 11 year. There's way too much energy available for you to be still in the shoulds, have tos, must, need to. all that really needs to get flushed down the toilet. Because all those words that I just said are what are keeping the ring around you instead of being able to access everything that is available. Okay? And your crystal is this piece of clear calcite, which I think was actually in the last reading that I did. And it's interesting. This is part of my water team. All 3 crystals for this reading are from my water team. So this is about your intuitive mastery, just like the symbol speaks to with the baby with the aura. This part of you wants to come out this year, and the specific message from this, I believe, is the same as it was the last time I used this in a reading, which is, you are beautiful and complete as is. And when I say that, it's coming into a place of more presence. It's coming into, okay, here I am. This is the situation right now. And how am I going to deal with this in this moment? Knowing that I have the 4 tools that I just mentioned. This card, the World card, indicates to me that you have everything you need, as does the clear calcite. You are beautiful, whole, and complete as you are. And that is the upside message of this Saturnian kind of feel of the World card. You have all 4 elements. So think about, in those situations, when you want to say, I need to, I have to, I should, I must. All that Saturnian, very serious, very driven, but in a way that is self-deprecating. Think about the tools in your tool chest. Is there a way I can go at this with my earth powers? What that means is getting organized, making a list, reaching out and, getting help. It's earthly, what can I do? Or how can I get organized? Or is it an air element? How could I think differently about this? Is there another way to go at this? This is a big one. Should I perhaps challenge my old belief? That is air. Is this belief no longer serving me? Because anytime you come up with those should, have to, which I just said it before as I was describing air, I'm very guilty. This is probably my card. I'm very guilty of that, and I think many of us are. That when those words come up, that is going to be wing, that's your clue. Anytime you're feeling like you're a servant to something, you need to think about the toolkit. So air, again, is being able to challenge old beliefs and to say, wait a minute, that's just an old belief. What's another way I could go at that? It's like really thinking about your mental processing. Again, we have a lot of new energy coming up in order for this self-mastery, this inner mastery to come up this year. It's not your just everyday year, okay? The next is water. How can your intuition play a role? And, what's the gut feeling you have around things? Trust your gut. And using your emotions as guideposts. I don't think people do that often. Like when I'm feeling negative emotion, I'm not going in the direction that the biggest part of me, the whole of me, you are beautiful and whole and complete as is. Remember, you're not paying attention to the fact that those are not in alignment. When you are feeling negative energy, and this is directly from Abraham Hicks, and I'm a believer because I've made it work in my life. When you're feeling negative energy, negative emotion, you're not in alignment with what the bigger part of you knows is actually the truth, is actually another way to go at it. So it's the emotions can be helpful in causing you to stop and take a fresh look through the eyes of intuition and know that something else must be something else must be more true than that, because you are a constantly evolving person. And that's why it is where certain situations can tend to, kind of upset us, where maybe they didn't a year or two ago or longer, even 6 weeks ago or 6 months ago, because you're ever evolving. That's also what the world points to. You are always an evolving planet. You are the world too. And so as we revolve and evolve, different things are going to set you off. And so you're growing. That's the good news. But what's another way to think about it? What does your intuition tell you as another possible option? And then the last, being fire. And that is this inner passion. Sometimes it is literally the get up and go. Like, I need to start doing a workout routine, or I just need to get up and get out in nature and go for a walk and get clear. So it's activity, but it's also allowing yourself to actually take part in your passions. Okay? And that's the beauty of being, the cook in the kitchen, and being able to experiment with some different ways of going at things, different ways of looking at any time you feel like you are a servant to a situation in your life, that you have the ability to change that. You have the ability to find a new passionate way to go at whatever that is. And those passions, it lives down in that sort of sacral chakra area, inner child. So a really good way to get your fire going is to think about what, like, the 5-year-old version of you would do in that situation. Awaken that inner child and invite that part of you forward, even if it's in a journal, and say, okay, 5-year-old Kat, what would you do? How would you look at this? Would you even be bothered by this? Or am I just getting stuck on something that isn't even my problem? Because I just want to help the whole world and I want everybody to be okay. But in the process, again, you make yourself the servant. You make yourself this really outdated, outmoded servant kind of mentality. And another word for that, when that's taken too far, is martyr. That you feel like it's your job to fix everybody and fix everything. This is your mastery year. This is about you. And that's what it's always been about for all of us. But I feel like this year is going to awaken that in a new way, where you get to realize that your only job is to just be your own greatest inspirational teacher. As you do that for yourself and focus on you, your shop, what are you doing to make yourself happy more of the time? What are you doing to light up these 4 elements? You have them all available to you. What are you doing on any given day to use those to your advantage? And in the process, it's just about being happy. It's just about finding some happiness and joy in this life, even in the stuff that totally sucks. There is a way to find your way to a level of freedom that therefore nothing can touch you that inspires fear within you. Because that's how dis-ease occurs, is when fear gets too much of the territory within, and then that drives you. So you're going to a place of greater freedom in this process. Okay? There we go, everybody. It's going to be a super, super full moon. Really full of promise. And let's use it to launch our new year just right. I wish you a very happy new year and good vibrations the whole year through. Bye-bye for now.